We are currently shifting from the era of AI chatbots to the era of AI agents, and the difference is going to be massive. Whilst a chatbot can give you textual outputs, an agent can actually take action. It can have access to your files, your calendar, and your entire digital life. But this shift brings with it massive disruption. It threatens the entire business model of SaaS companies and changes exactly what we need from developers. If you're a business owner, you need to know if you're about to pay for software that an AI could just build for you instantly. Hi, I'm Michael James. I'm an educator and I do AI training. I also help overwhelmed professionals and businesses master their workload with AI and smarter ways of working. Over 130,000 people have taken my training, and I'll show you how to use AI tools today to take back control of your workload and to help make your staff way more productive by using AI safely. And I'll help to connect you with trusted developers if you want to go and actually have a build made. I'm seeing a lot of confusion right now in what constitutes an AI agent and how it differs from something like ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, we're used to asking it a question and getting an answer and then doing the work ourselves. But an AI agent is very different. And in this first clip from my school community, I'm speaking with Shubs, an expert developer, about the fundamental difference between a standard automation, like a set of rigid rules, and a true AI agent. So here's my explanation of it. So a usual ChatGPT, you are communicating with it like a chat window, like a chatbot.
Yes.
And a deterministic usual automation might be something that's been set up by somebody to run multiple times, but the steps and the tools have been purposely decided on and set by a developer. Whereas an AI agent, you give it access to your email, to your documents, to the web, to, I don't know, whatever else, your bank account maybe. And then what you do is you give it a goal and it decides for itself how to work that out. Another way I think of it is when you're at work and you've got a new staff member who's junior, saying the first day in the job, you might tell them, I want you to do this task and do it this way. Do. But if you've hired a contractor who's well experienced in that role, you're not telling them, I want you to do, if, like, say if it's a social media expert or something like that, you're not telling them, I want you to do this many posts on LinkedIn and I want you to do it exactly like this. What you're saying to them is, I want to improve my reach on LinkedIn. You're the expert. You go do that. And that's kind of what an AI agent is. So the agent is like an expert contractor, where a regular AI is like an assistant that you tell exactly what to do step by step. With the agent, you don't tell it what buttons to click and what to do. You tell it the outcome that you want, and it uses its own initiative to be able to work out how to achieve that outcome. But for an agent to be able to do this, it needs access to your tools and your accounts and have various permissions. So in this next clip, we look at the Claude desktop to get an idea of exactly how this works.
Claude and Claude Code to start using agents and actually using agents on my device rather than in the cloud where where my information is pretty much stuck and I have to copy and paste it. So what this is, so the Claude has connection to because it lives on my desktop on my MacBook. It has access to web search, Google Drive. I've connected it to Gmail search. It sometimes does disconnect. Calendar search. It also has access to my file system and Firefly. So file system, it can actually look at my machine.
That's your local file system on your local.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely. But there is a way to actually secure your machine, and I found a way. It's called TwinGate, but I can go into that later. And Fireflies is connected, and then my Obsidian. So I have this note taker, but it actually visualizes my notes over the time, and it's a great knowledge base. I'll probably do a demo at some point for Obsidian, and it has access to my to-do list. So I have given it.
Can you give it access to specific files and folders in Google Drive and on your local system?
Correct. Yeah. It has access to just my downloads folder for now. So what you do is when you go into the configuration file of Claude, it has its developer's configuration settings. You can just give it the directory, so the path, usually of the folder, and then you can just say you just have access to this one folder. So then it would traverse down; it would never look left or right, and then have access to anything else.
Next, we discuss a use case where an agent looks at your meetings, your files, and your to-do list to give you a snapshot of your working day. It's acting like a highly efficient executive assistant. Question about the tools, but firstly, like, can you give me a snapshot of my day use, Fire files, Google Calendar, Gmail, and any other tools? So, so it's basically like you're at the end of the day, and you've done some meetings and they've been captured in Fire files. You've had some meetings and stuff in your Google Calendar, and you've made some documents. And what this is, what you've asked is give me a synopsis, a summary of what I've done today. So if you're an employee and you maybe need to explain to your boss when your boss says what have you done today? You can because this agent has got connected access to your calendar, to your files, to your meeting notes through Fire files. It's decided I'm going to step by step. This is what I'm going to do. We're going to go to your Google Calendar, going to go to your Fire files, etc. Now it's running to produce that report for you. Is it? That's what.
That's quite accurate. And what it's also doing is it's asking me Claude. So it's asking me for access. So which is quite nice that it asks for access every time I do a certain task. I believe that there is a timer on this that you're giving access to these files quite frequently, and you're not. It's just not having access all the time. So I would love to, because if I show you this, by going to my file system, it has access to these actions. It can search the files, move the files directory tree.
Okay. So not only can you determine which specific files it has access to make sure that you keep certain things private, but you can also set the permissions, what it can and can't do in this list as well. Like, can it read, can it search, can it edit?
Absolutely. It has, yes, all of these access. So, all of this is just, it's our own folder systems that have this read write access from a long time. But now when we connect an LLM to it, it has the ability to see into those folders. So yeah, like it's broken down my day by looking at my calendar. So that's why I've got this at. So I do, for my agency, I have a number of different tasks I have to do on a daily basis. But then it gives me client partner calls that I've had today, which is very helpful. It's able to look at some collaborations, some client deliverables. Like it's worked out my
Here we are,
calendar.
4 p.m. podcast
And
recording.
there we go.
With
So
Mike.
4 p.m. So it's recent brief connection, 3-minute period. It's worked out. It's told me how much I've had a conversation with yourself by looking at the fireflies. So yeah, it breaks it all down.
But this capability leads to a bigger question. If I can just ask my AI agent to organize my day or track my work hours, why do I need to go and pay for a monthly subscription to a productivity app? Here's an example of what I mean. So additional use case for this then, because that's one thing, it being able to give you a synopsis of what you've done in the working day really easily, simply because you've given it access to your Google Mail and your calendar and your files and everything. But could you then say to it, last month, what did I spend the majority of my time on? And can it then give you a synopsis of you spend, I don't know, 60% of your time actually in meetings, or you created 50 new Google Docs that day, or do you know what I mean? So you can get like an idea of where your time is split. This is like top of my head use case as I'm thinking expanding this particular prompt, which was like a dead simple, really, really, it wasn't a detailed prompt, was it? It was just kind of like, give me a snapshot of what I've done today. So I'm thinking if you just then asked where's my time going in a month? It'll probably take a bit longer to process through all that, but it's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to be able to do that task, isn't it?
So it's funny enough you say that actually. So I have something called Rise. I can show you a quick snippet. His own task, which is tracking my time. So it's worked out how many hours of the day I've worked out.
This is another interesting point because I had another podcast with a previous developer and
Yeah,
a YouTube video that says, "Is SaaS dead?" And the reason, the premise, or the reason behind that is this software is good. I know I've not tried it myself, but I've heard of it, and I've
yeah,
heard people like recommend it. But essentially, you're paying a subscription service for this, are you not, to do it? Yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
So that agent with Claude, you won't get the dashboard, you won't get it. It won't probably not as powerful, etc., etc. But you could ask it that prompt and basically get a similar kind of, this is how much time you're spending over the month. So what we were talking about in that previous podcast is what happens when the AI agents and AI tech gets so good that all
yeah,
of a sudden it starts to threaten most SaaS services, because you will then just be able to say, what am I spending my time on? Or I mean, we were talking about using like Google AI Studio or Replit to build applications.
yeah,
So that, I mean, that's another factor. We've got the AI agent here with Claude, as we've shown, with a use case which is kind of similar to this, but it gives you a textual output of where your time's gone, and maybe you need to ask for that each time, or you could set it up to produce that. This, you get a nice dashboard and stuff, but you could also just ask Replit to create something similar. Now, in today's low code, vibe code tools, you still need to have some development background in order to build something like that. And it's still going to take you a bit of time, but it is possible. But what happens in 5-10 years where they've got so good that you just say, I want a work tracking system, and then
yeah,
it just outputs basically this. And so we were saying that maybe in the future you will only pay for one SaaS subscription, and that'll be to the AI of choice. And then everything
right.
else, you just create your own products and software. It's starting to get there. It's not there yet, but it seems to be going that way. This is the SaaS threat. In that clip, I put forward the idea that many software companies are dead in the water because AI can simply generate the solution on the fly. That is a scary thought for software investors, but a liberating one for business owners. You might only pay for one intelligence, not multiple SaaS solutions in the future. So if an AI can build the tool and the AI can do the task, where does that leave the human developers? Are they obsolete? My guest argues that whilst coding might be automated in the future and today, the role of the developer shifts from something more valuable, problem solving.
Yeah. No, I've spent a good amount of time thinking about it because I've been a traditional developer. I've built SaaS like this. I know how long it takes to actually code things like this. And when you have a AI agent or AI system come in and just build something super fast, you just think, wow, okay, that is crazy fast. And it took me it put me into an existential crisis to
As a
as it did for
developer,
the
yeah.
entire world. And I think what it is when Google came out, that the cost of knowing such information, I don't blame that generation. It's just because they were everyone was given everyone was paid to know certain answers and being subject matter experts.
Yeah.
When Google came, it didn't necessarily drop their subject matter expert, it only enhanced it.
I think it's going to be very disruptive for SaaS models. But I think to your point, what you're explaining is, although there is going to be disruption, it doesn't mean that the jobs and the necessity and things are going to continue. It's just going to shift. Like you say with
Correct.
Google, knowledge work didn't disappear when Google came along. It just enhanced those people doing knowledge work, but it probably did change the nature of a lot of jobs. So in summary, I think that's kind of it. There's going to be disruption, but AI is effectively a tool that's going to allow us to do more and help us, just like previous technology and technological advancements in the past have done.
Absolutely. I think a lot of businesses are problem aware, and yes, they can use the tools themselves, but a lot of times it's the problem and the way of thinking about the problem that changes. Yes, we someone can build the tool itself, but having a another person come in with their own domain and be able to build software, they understand how to process map and understand the business problems, and then translate that into uh, working software. I think that is a very important thing for us to understand, that communication, we can do a lot of things. Even agents, they can work in a very narrow task, but then it's that orchestration agent that comes in, and we are those orchestration agents that we can help.
AI, right? That was it. Yeah, AI is a tool that can help us do our job. And even though now it doesn't take an expert coder to be able to build something, the skill set and ability to know how to apply it is the thing that will set people apart. So for yourself, for example, you can develop and you can use these tools, but if you don't know how to apply that to a business in order to get some actual real value out of it, then it's a fancy tool. But what's really important is knowing how to use it and why you should use it. And that is the key thing that's going to make developers and people thrive basically in this new landscape of AI. Have I got that right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So the future is quite exciting because technology is making problem solving through technology so much more accessible to absolutely everybody. In the next clip, we explain the changing job market and how to thrive in this environment. More than ever before, it's less about technical ability and more about the application of it. At the end, it's always kind of been the same case though. The people that know how to apply the development and to apply the tech are the ones that do the best. And I don't think that's going to change with AI. I think basically the application of it is still the thing that's most important. And we're probably getting to a point where it's even more important than it was before, because the tech side of it is getting easier. That said, it's still not, you still need to know about tech and development to leverage the AI tools to the best of their ability and to build stuff. So there's definitely still a place for developers and AI agencies for now, and I'd say for the foreseeable future as well. But
Therefore,
the ability to know how to apply it to business problems and to people's problems is the key thing that's the most important, which actually is what I focus on. So maybe I'm
absolutely.
in the right space, hopefully.
You definitely are. I think so. And you've worked with data as well. So I think that gives you a superpower.
The disruption is coming if it's not already here. But it's not about replacing people, it's about replacing friction. The technical barrier to entry is lowering, which means that your ability to solve actual business problems is more valuable than ever. If you found this video and this breakdown helpful, then please like and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you want to stay ahead of this AI curve, then join my school community where you can explain your challenges and get personalized advice from experts and developers on how to work smarter using AI and how to leverage AI in your business. Every week, trusted developers showcase their examples of how AI is transforming businesses so you can see exactly what is possible. And if your staff want training on how to leverage AI tools safely and responsibly to become way more productive, then reach out to me on LinkedIn to discuss my training programs, because I offer training for staff members, for business owners, and for anybody that wants to make use of AI tools and chat GPTs and large language models at work safely and responsibly. Or you could just go to my AI section on my website, learnmanagementonline.com, to see the services that I offer. Thanks for watching.